Very good evening to you, and thank you so much for being a part of the Uganda Catholic Television. It is a Friday, the 19th day of January 2024. I'm Sunday Gloria Abwatch with Uctv News. Now, IGAD leaders have denounced the conflict in Sudan and emphasized that the country belongs to its people. They also called for an immediate and unconditional ceasefire to put out an end to the war. The call was made during the Intergovernmental Authority on Development IGAD's 42nd Extraordinary Assembly of Heads of State and Government hosted last evening by President Museveni at State House Entebbe.
Guns must be silenced as the war continues to pose serious threats to the unity and territorial integrity of Sudan, as well as to the security and stability of the entire region and beyond. In this regard, the Secretary General commends IGAD's leaders' continuous efforts to bring an end to this devastating armed conflict and your sustained attempts to start concrete talks towards
the war in Sudan. If you look at our communique, we describe it as an unjust war. We freedom fighters pay a lot of attention to those words. When we were fighting for freedom, our anti-colonial wars were just wars, because we were fighting for justice, and we could not get it by any other means. I was sharing with their excellencies. If you take, for instance, the history of the ANC of South Africa, they were founded in 1912, but I don't think they adopted the armed struggle strategy until 1961. You can check. So for 50 years, they were using peaceful methods, petitions, demonstrations. It was only when the oppressor completely closed the possibilities of peaceful ways of doing things that the ANC declared war. But you have got wars, everything, every small thing is war, everything is war. This is ideological shallowness in our view.
The stability of the Horn of Africa, a vital physical and cultural corridor with other regions, is a major preoccupation for the continent. The current tension between the brotherly nation of Somalia and Ethiopia compounds an already difficult time for the region, where, despite our collective efforts, the Al-Shabaab threat remains high in Somalia, and the destructive war in Sudan continues unabated.
As we, heads of states and governments, bear the responsibility of steering our nations through those challenging times in a spirit of genuine cooperation and solidarity, it is therefore my hope that over the course of this summit, we will engage in robust and fruitful discussions, leaving no stone unturned in our pursuit of fruitful, constructive, and tangible outcomes.
The respect of unity, territorial integrity, and sovereignty of all member states is a sacrosanct principle of the Union. Another key principle is the commitment to the resolution of disputes through peaceful means and consensual arrangements between member states. The African Union supports and continues to work with the regional body IGAD to achieve our shared objectives. In this regard, I instructed my High Representative for the Horn to continue and reinforce our cooperation.
Now, Uganda has officially assumed the chairmanship of the non-aligned movement from the Republic of Azerbaijan. Ceyhan Bayramov, the Minister for Foreign Affairs who stood in for the president, handed the gavel to President Museveni and other instruments of power as the chair for the next 3 years, starting this year to 2026.
Extended to all delegations. I hereby declare the 19th Summit of the Heads of State and Government of the non-member states open. Excellencies, we are going through a difficult period where the international system is being challenged with unprecedented threats. Interconnectedness among us has multiplied the effects of those challenges and requires unified and collective responses based on norms and principles of international law. We should stay united in the face of existing and growing challenges and endeavor to make our movement be capable of and sufficiently equipped in coping with them. 4 years ago, at the 18th Summit of the NAM held in Baku, the Republic of Azerbaijan assumed the chairmanship of the movement, which, I can proudly say, in the past few years have become one of the key players in international relations. As the outgoing chair of the non-aligned movement, Azerbaijan has spared no efforts towards further increasing the effectiveness of and strengthening unity within the movement. I truly believe that the Kampala summit will become a privileged opportunity for us to take stock of the progress of our work achieved since NAM Baku summit and to further advance the objectiveness set therein. Before starting our deliberations, I want to draw your attention to the following. The list of leaders of the non-aligned movement member states who passed away since the 18th summit of the non-aligned movement held in Baku, the Republic of Azerbaijan, on 25-26 October 2019, has been circulated among all delegations. I invite all participants of this summit to stand and observe a minute of silence in tribute to the memory of those who lost their lives. The NAM Youth Organization, founded in 2022, constitutes an additional asset for promotion of multilateralism within the movement. Through this entity, the movement has the opportunity to exchange views on the challenges faced by young people in member states in ensuring their sustainable development and opportunities for joint solutions by the governments of their countries. Headquartered in Baku, capital of Azerbaijan, the NAM Youth Organization, with solid structure and clear, result-oriented vision, will enable the NAM youth community to address the youth development-related challenges more effectively and to convey the unified messages of NAM youth to the international community in a more systematic way. In a very important move, Azerbaijani chairmanship has also proposed the establishment of the NAM Women's Platform, a framework cooperation among NAM member states on the empowerment of women and advancing the rights of women. Convening of NAM conference on advancing the rights and empowerment of women in fall of 2023 in Azerbaijan was a first step towards this end. It is worth to note that with support of member states, Azerbaijani chairmanship reinvigorated the implementation of the right to development as an inalienable human right. With adoption of resolution on the right to development at Human Rights Council in October of 2023, the draft International Covenant on the Right to Development was submitted to the UN General Assembly for its consideration, negotiation and subsequent adoption. Excellencies, I am also delighted to share that during Azerbaijani chairmanship, we had certain milestone achievements towards enlargement of the movement. During our chairmanship, the non-aligned movement has been expanded in both its membership and observer composition. At the mid-term NAM Ministerial Summit held in Baku, the Russian Federation was granted an observer status in the movement. At the ministerial meeting of NAM Coordinating Bureau held in Baku in July 2023, we have agreed to forward the request of South Sudan, the only non-NAM member state from African continent, for full-fledged membership in the non-aligned movement to the Kampala summit. Admission of the South Sudan will be the first expansion of NAM membership in 13 years, bringing the number of member states to 121. This proves a growing validity and increased importance of our movement in the international relations system. Azerbaijani chairmanship has made consistent efforts to promote the practice of demonstrating support to nominations of non-member states to various positions in the international organizations. Among other chairmanship activities, Azerbaijan has also revitalized the coordinating mechanism of member states within UNESCO by organizing regular ambassadorial meetings, special events, and establishment of database of nominations of non-member states to the elected positions at UNESCO. We have established NAM Caucus within UNESCO Executive Board. As part of our activities within NAM Paris chapter, we have also established NAM Caucus within International Organization of Francophonie. Azerbaijani chairmanship has also attached particular importance to the development efforts of the non-member states. Upon the decree of the President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, we have provided scholarship opportunities for students from non-member states to enroll in undergraduate, graduate, and other degree programs in more than 20 colleges and universities of the country. Excellencies, these were some highlights from multidimensional and intense activities of Azerbaijani NAM chairmanship from 2019 to 2024. Excellencies, at this historic moment, after 4 years of proudly chairing the movement, we are handing over the chairmanship to the Republic of Uganda with a rich, substantial, and institutional legacy. We are confident that Uganda will spare no effort towards further enhancing the role and visibility of the movement and strengthening unity among its member states. I would like to reiterate that although our chairmanship came to an end, our passion and determination for the success of NAM will always remain strong. We will continue to contribute to a just cause pursued by the movement within the NAM Troika. I wish the distinguished friends from Uganda all the best in their chairmanship and express our readiness to extend all the necessary support in this process. Azerbaijan is proud to take over a new important international responsibility. In fall 2024, Baku will be hosting the 29th Conference of Parties to the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change. As the host of COP29, we rely on precious support by the NAM member states and look forward to welcoming you to Azerbaijan. I thank you all. Ladies and gentlemen, the next item in the agenda is election by acclamation of the chair of the 19th Summit of the Heads of State and Government of NAM. I propose the distinguished delegations to elect by acclamation His Excellency, Mr. Yoweri Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda, as chair of the 19th Summit of the Heads of State and Government of NAM. So I declare His Excellency, Mr. Yoweri Museveni, as the chair of the 19th Summit of the Heads of State and Government of NAM. I invite His Excellency to assume his chairmanship. The floor is yours, Mr. Chair, and thank you very much.
In his speech, the new chairman, NAM, President Museveni, urged fellow NAM heads of state and delegates to settle international disputes through peaceful means and push for the respect for territorial sovereignty and integrity of their nations.
Fellow Ugandans, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to welcome Your Excellencies, the heads of state and governments, and the heads of delegations of the non-aligned movement countries. This grouping of countries accounts for 4.46 billion people of the world. It was started by our far-sighted elders in the persons of His Excellency Sukarno of Indonesia, His Excellency Jawaharlal Nehru of India, His Excellency Gamal Abdel Nasser of Egypt, and His Excellency Zhou Enlai of China, when they met in Bandung, Indonesia, 1955. That time I was in primary 3 in the school. The first summit of the non-aligned movement took place in Belgrade, Yugoslavia, in 1961, and was attended by Afghanistan, Algeria, Burma, Cambodia, Ceylon, Congo, Cuba, Cyprus, Ethiopia, Ghana, Guinea Conakry. I think here we're talking of Guinea Conakry. India, Indonesia, Iraq, Lebanon, Mali, Morocco, Nepal, Saudi Arabia, Somalia, Sudan, Tunisia, United Arab Republic, Egypt, Yemen, and Yugoslavia. The emergence of the non-aligned movement was a necessary antidote to the irrational polarization of the world of that time between the capitalist Western countries and the communist, mainly Eastern countries. By the early 1960s, our student group was already beginning to be active. We were the third generation of the African anti-colonial freedom fighters. The first generation had been the African-American Pan-Africanists, such as Marcus Garvey, George Padmore, W.B. Du Bois, that had been joined by those who founded the African National Congress of South Africa in 1912. By 1900, the whole of Africa, except for Ethiopia, had been colonized. This direct colonization of the whole of the African continent was the culmination of 400 years of the plunder of Africa by the evil imperialist forces in the form of slave trade and the genocidal wars that went with it. The newly discovered Americas, Asia, China, and the Pacific, Australia, New Zealand, and so on, had been similarly aggressed, colonized, semi-colonized, like in the case of China, and plundered. Africa's capitulation, Africa's surrender, had been in part on account of our egocentric chiefs and kings, who out of selfishness could not unite us to fight these evil people. Our stand is that the world should concentrate on the common human problems: prosperity through trade, and that's why I'm very happy to see you here. When you are outside there, you may get stereotypes about Africa, that Africa, they have no food, they are starving. Here we are dying from food. We have so much food here. So those images which you see about some bad situations, don't think they represent the whole of Africa. Africa has got everything. Here we have everything. What we need from other people are markets and investments. But we shall not only sell to you, we shall also buy from you. We are not like others who want only to sell to others but not buy from them. So I'm very glad to have this big presence of people from the world so that we can interact with you. Our stand is that the world should concentrate on the common human problems: prosperity through trade, the advance of science and technology to deal with human problems, the environment, crime, and terrorism. The future is bright if we act right. These are indeed the Bandung principles of 1, respect for fundamental human rights and for the purposes of the principles of the Charter of the United Nations, respect for the sovereignty and territorial integrity of all nations, recognition of the equality of all races and of the equality of all nations, large and small, abstention from intervention or interference in the internal affairs of another country, respect for the right of each nation to defend itself singly or collectively in conformity with the Charter of the United Nations, abstention from the use of arrangements of collective defense to serve the particular interests of any of the big powers, abstention by any country from exerting pressure on other countries. 7, refraining from acts of threats, of aggression, or use of force against the territorial integrity or political independence of any country. Settlement of all international disputes by peaceful means, such as negotiation, conciliation, arbitration, or judicial settlement, as well as other peaceful means of the parties' own choice in conformity with the Charter of the United Nations. Promotion of mutual interests and cooperation, and respect for justice and international obligation. It is on these principles that the NAM was founded. We, the resistance fighters of Uganda, can testify that by synthesizing the package of ideas have got very good results. The universe has been here for the last 30 billion years. This earth has been here for 30 billion years. The human society has been here for the last 4.5 million years. Now you come, within 20 years, you think what you think is the only correct thing. You must be sick. You therefore should not have the audacity to impose on the society you live in, let alone the world, your narrow, uni-ideological orientation. Here in Uganda, we rejected the concept of uni-ideological positions. Our movement started as a multi-ideological political force. We had capitalists, we had socialists, we had Marxists, we had feudalists. They're all. That's why we call our movement, not party. Because a party is uni-ideological. Communist party, capitalist party, those are uni-ideological. Our force is multi-ideological, because that's what fits our society. In conclusion, the strength of the non-aligned movement should be used to exercise considerable influence, particularly at the UN, for the effective transformative process for a better common future. In the negotiations for the Pact of the Future, the outcome document of the upcoming United Nations Summit of the Future, to be held in New York in September 2024. We should clearly define priorities that favor developing countries by maintaining unity, solidarity, and collective coordination among our member states in line with the Bandung principles. I assure you all that my team, led by the permanent representative in New York, has my full support to chair the coordinating bureau of the Land-Aligned Movement. I thank you, and I welcome you all to Uganda. Thank you very much.
And away from that, the Bank of Uganda has closed EFC Uganda, a microfinance company, due to poor financial standing. The action is based on Section 721 and 12(1)(d) and G of the Microfinance Deposit Taking Institutions Act 2023 as amended. The central bank's decision, which also places EFC Uganda Limited located on Chira Road under liquidation, also revoked its license and ordered the winding up of its affairs effective today, Friday. The regulator says it will, together with the Deposit Protection Fund of Uganda, inform depositors of the arrangements that will be put in place to enable them to access all of their deposits, and that all those who have claims with the institution will submit them to the Bank of Uganda. The Deputy Governor, Bank of Uganda, Michael Etingi Ego, adds that all borrowers of EFC with outstanding loans and advances must continue to serve their loan obligations by making payments at the Bank of Uganda offices and branches. Last year, Parliament recommended a minimum capital requirement for Tier 3 microfinance deposit-taking institutions of 5 billion shillings instead of the 10 billion that had been recommended by the Bank of Uganda to ensure a stronger financial industry.
This press statement is notice to the public. It regards the liquidation, revocation of license and order to wind up EFC Uganda Limited under Section 72 and Section 12, Part 1D of the Microfinance Deposit Taking Institution Act 2003 as amended. Kampala, January 19th, 2024. In the exercise of its powers under Section 72, Part 1 and 12, Part 1D of the Microfinance Deposit Taking Institutions MDI Act 2003 as amended, Bank of Uganda has effective today, 19th January 2024, placed EFC Uganda Limited under liquidation, revoked its license, and ordered for the winding up of its affairs. This action has been taken because Bank of Uganda has determined that the continuation of EFC Uganda Limited's activities is detrimental to the interests of its depositors due to the institution's failure to resolve its significant undercapitalization and poor corporate governance. Bank of Uganda and the Deposit Protection Fund of Uganda will inform depositors of the arrangements that will be put in place to enable them access all of their deposits. All other creditors are requested to submit their claims to the Office of the Director of Financial Stability Department, Bank of Uganda, within 30 days from the date of this statement. All borrowers of EFC Uganda Limited must continue to service their loan obligations by making payments at Bank of Uganda offices and branches. Any person possessing the property of EFC Uganda Limited should deliver it to Bank of Uganda and hand it over to the Office of the Director Financial Stability. Bank of Uganda reassures the public that it will continue to protect depositors' interests and maintain the stability of the financial sector. There ends the reading of the press release. Thank you.
Thank you for watching UCTV News. Let's take a look at our segment, Today in History. UCTV News takes a break and we'll be back.
UCTV, good news for all.
Catch incredible stories of resilience, success.
You can manage that money.
With a topping of inspiration.
Get interested in people, not interested in yourself.
Inspire, achieve, repeat.
You are watching UCTV, good news for all. For this and more, tune in to Kasese Get Radio 100.5 in Western Region, located at the hill of the Diocese of Kasese. KGR brings you all Catholic programs and an advertising platform in all our radio shows like Good Morning Renzori, Chama Towoka, Ukute, the business show, Propeller, the request show and sports, Evaluation, Bahinga Bakuluka, Late Night Show, and many others. Our other services include Isuzu Tipa, a no car, public address system, live band, Omokekera, an audio recording studio, and outside live broadcast. For more information, call 0773 597 166 or visit our website www.kasesegatradio.com. Kasese Radio, Omusondoria, the voice of truth.
It's unbelievable. Now, companies, businesses, and organizations can make bulk payments easily with Centenary Bank's corporate center SWIFT to anyone without the need of a bank account, anywhere, anytime, just like that. The recipient needs only their phones, national ID, and token number received via SMS to withdraw money from any center agent nearby. The Centenary Bank's corporate center SWIFT is simple, secure, and convenient. You think it's too good to be true? Visit any of our branches countrywide or visit www.centenarybank.co.ug to know more. Centenary Bank. Centenary Bank is a member center group regulated by the Bank of Uganda. Customer deposits of up to 10 million shillings are protected by the Deposit Protection Fund of Uganda. Terms and conditions apply.
UCTV, good news for all.
And that segment brings our newscast tonight to an end. Do stay tuned and follow UCTV on different social media platforms. I'm Sunday Gloria Aboch. Have yourselves a nice weekend.